This bathroom only has one light fixture right here, and it needs to have 3. So we're gonna put one in right over here, and then right over here. Now, this one, you can see the wires already hanging out of the wall, and that needs to be pulled back into the wall and repaired. But the first thing that I need to do is install this electrical box. It's the most important thing so that we have something to attach our light to. And it's gonna go right here. I've already got my center point marked, so the next thing I have to do is cut the hole. Now, in an ideal situation, I'd be able to use a hole saw. I'd drill the hole the size of my box and just put it right in. Unfortunately, I don't have that drill bit with me, so what I have to do instead is get creative. And I think I've got a solution that'll work pretty well. While some people would think using a utility knife would be the best solution here, the problem is that the utility knife is too thick and too hard to go around in a circular shape. So instead, I'm going to use this 5-way tool, and I'm going to use my hammer to pound it into the drywall in a circular motion. Let's get that done. The reason I feel that this works better than a utility knife is all down to this section right here. Because it's so pointy and sharp here at the end, it's able to make a curve a lot smaller on the radius than, say, a utility knife, which would be more like this. And you make a lot more of a mess doing that than this. Now we've got a different kind of problem. Right here is where our plumbing goes up through the wall. And that's right where we wanted to install our box. It's just not gonna fit in there. So I have to come up with a new solution. Since I ran into so much trouble on the other side, I'm gonna give this side a try and see if it's any easier. I don't have very high hopes, but hopefully I won't run into the same pipe in the wall situation, and this one will go easier. Well, I didn't get lucky over here either. I've got the same metal here and pipe underneath of it, so I've really got to take a second to think about what the best option is right now. And I'm back with a solution. All I have to do is widen out these holes a little bit, and then this will fit right into them like that. But I have to get the wire in before I can install the box. This is a 1/2-inch thick metal pancake box. And some of you are probably thinking, oh, those silly plumbers for putting the pipe in the wall there, but it's not really on them. This is just one of those things that you come across when you uncover things and you don't really know where the light's gonna go. So now we do, and the pipe's there, so we have to make do on the fly and problem solve. And that's really what this is about. I got my wire in the wall. That took a bit of work. The next step is to take this, and I've got to punch out a hole in it. So I'll just, there we go. So I'll take out this little thing here. I've got a hole in the middle now that'll feed my wire through. And once we've got that, we can attach our bracket to the wall. The problem is that we don't have anything to attach it to. And that is where this piece of wood right here comes in. So we're gonna have to take this piece of wood and cut it into little strips, and then I can fish into the wall, screw to the drywall, and then screw the metal box to these plates. All right, we cut it deep enough that I can just snap this off now. Just like that, and this will go in the wall. Gotta be careful here, because the reason that there was a metal piece in that hole before I cut it out is because there's a pipe there, and we don't want to damage the pipe with our screws. So that's why choosing short screws is important. Okay, I got this whole thing done and ready for the light. So I'm gonna do the one above your head now and cut back once I'm ready to start installing the lights. If you've been wondering about the framing of these shots, it's actually because I forgot my tripod at home. But anyway, now that I've got my hole enlarged and my wire in the hole, I'm ready to install my piece of plywood so that I can install the metal box, which is what I'm really here for. But I've got to put the piece of plywood in first so I can attach this to it. Let's get that done. I'll show you kind of how that works. I got to get my regular screw bit here. Put that in my drill. I got to get the battery out of one of my other tools because all my batteries are dead. This one was actually on the charger. So I've got this one. Now I just need to grab 2 screws like this, and these will hold the plywood to the wall. So once I get the piece of plywood in, I just attach my screws to the drywall and I'll screw those in while holding the plywood like that. But I can't really do that right now because I'm holding the camera. So I'm gonna put you back down and get that done. With my piece of plywood in the hole, now I'm gonna put this in. I've just gotta thread the wire through and screw it up. This light is a pretty standard fixture. We've got 3 parts. One is the light fixture itself. The second part is the bulbs and globes for that fixture. And the final part is the hardware package. The hardware package goes on first, so that's what we'll be doing now. Once we've got all that done, we can go ahead and attach our fixture. So we're going to want to hang it by the ground wire because it's actually designed for this. We'll put it up there and attach it to the ground screw on the hardware. Then we'll need to use wire nuts to attach the wires in the fixture to their counterparts in the wall. So ground on ground, white on white, black on black. Now that I've got my box in, my hardware set up, my wires attached, pretty much it's down to the final steps. We got to put the fixture up, attach it to our hardware, and we're pretty much done. Well, now you can see that we've got the light fixture done. I'm gonna hang up the mirror and then show you the final result. That's it. I've got both sides done now, and one of them is working. So they're actually both working. We just don't have the bulbs for them. But it's a pretty big transformation in here. You can see everything now. And if you think, well, I could see that before, remember, I had my video light on, which I no longer need. But it lit up the space pretty well on its own. And now I can turn it off because I've got a light that I installed to the wall. So that's the transformation in here. I think it's pretty dramatic. It's going to be even more dramatic once I get 4 bulbs in here, and it's going to look great. So with that, I'm glad that you came along for this little journey. I'm glad that we could share a project together, and I'm ready to go.